Hey guys, I hope you guys had a great Wednesday yesterday. So today, I just wanted to review real quick what you guys did yesterday and then let you guys know that today you're going to be starting Unit 2 on Gauge and taking that assessment. So yesterday we reviewed that we're going to read a text and make notes as we read. We're doing this so that we can answer questions and support ourselves with evidence. And then you're going to know you have it today because you added notes to your text that showed your thoughts and supported your answers. So you knew the first step was to do like a quick retell, and that should have been in the Canvas document, a place for you to type it. You needed to read the questions. Step 3 was to go ahead and reread or kind of skim the passage, underlining the answers or making notes as you thought. And that wasn't too necessary yesterday, the second step, but it will be as we get more into this. And then step 4 is going to be to answer the question using what you've found and then refer to the passage to cite. So I have Launch Point open. I'm going to Canvas from my page. I'm going into reading responses where we were yesterday. And then Unit 2. So today you'll need to come in here, but instead of clicking on 11:14, you're going to need to click on 11:15 to find this video. So now that I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and go over what you did yesterday using the passage and the quiz here. So I've already read the passage and so have you, and hopefully you've read it a couple times through. So I'm not going to reread the passage. I'm going to go ahead and start the quiz just to review some of those answers. And we have read this over the course of 2 days, as you know. So the first one was just to give a quick retell. So if you just said something about the story was about Oscar, who was very bored and impatient on a road trip. He wanted to ask when they would get there, but he didn't want to get in trouble. So he bounced his legs and wiggled to try and keep from asking. Finally, he blurted it out. Are we there yet? Okay, so if you said something like that, then you did your job. So going on, the second thing, what was the main problem that he faced? He was bored, he was tired, he was thirsty, he was hungry. So if I go back into the passage, just like you guys did yesterday, I would look for something that showed that he was bored or tired or whatnot. And since I've read this passage twice through, I really feel like the first answer, that he was bored, supports that the best. So I'm going to go back in and find places how I know that he was bored. It says Oscar did not want ham. He did not want fireworks. You're not allowed to have fireworks in the car on a road trip anyways. That's because fireworks are tons of fun and road trips are the most boring thing in the world. That definitely shows that he was bored. It goes on, it talks about he would have been, if he had eaten that green hamburger, he didn't need to say the words. Only brats ask, his sister Georgia. So anyways, I feel like that best showed that, so I went ahead and underlined that. So I would have clicked that on the quiz, that he was bored. Scrolling down, Oscar's father does not like being asked, are we there yet? What evidence from the story best shows this conclusion? His dad has told him that only brats ask that question. If we were there, do you think we'd still be driving? His sister Georgia had asked a few hundred billboards earlier, but he knew that no matter what, he couldn't say the word. What shows that he doesn't like being asked this? I think this first one. All of them show or have to do with asking about that, but that line about being a brat, definitely shows that Dad said that. And I remember that right here. It says, but he knew no matter what, he couldn't say the words. Oscar did not want to be a brat. His dad had told him that earlier. So underlining that because that's where my evidence is. Question 4, why does Oscar start bouncing and shaking? Support your answer with evidence. So this would be the race one. So to restate, I would say, I think Oscar, or in the story, Oscar bounces and shakes because he's bored. Okay, so then I'm going to consider that my answer as well. So then I would cite by going back into my passage. I would use the line about how he says that road trips are boring. He talked in the passage. Remember, you have to use some of those yellow words off the wall. In the passage, it says that Oscar thought that road trips were the most boring thing in the world. Okay, and I would continue by explaining even more. But if you said something along these lines and you cited and explained, then you've done your job. So that is the quiz you guys took yesterday. So if you got close to that, then you did a wonderful job. And I'll be looking over those soon. The next thing I wanted to share with you guys is just how you can figure out some unknown words real quick. So in this passage, the word witty. I'm going to highlight that because that might be a word that I struggled with. And I think I'm going to focus on that one. Okay, so there are a couple things I can do to figure out this word. The first thing I can do is I need to go back a little bit and reread that chunk of text. So I'm going to start right here. His sister Georgia had asked a few hundred billboards back. It did not go well. Are we there yet? She asked. Georgia, said their mom. But are we? She asked again. If we were there, said Dad, do you think we'd still be driving? This is what Dad considered a witty remark. Okay, so just going back and reading doesn't always get me to my answer. Okay, so if I go back and I reread and I still can't figure out what that word means, then sometimes reading on can help. Oscar didn't think it was funny at all. Neither did Georgia. Okay, right here. This line right here. Reading on can sometimes help me. Reading backwards can sometimes help. Reading on can sometimes help. Right here it says funny at all. So I'm thinking that when Dad made this comment right here, it kind of sounds like a smart comment. So Dad thought when he said, if we were there, do you think we'd still be driving? That he was going to be funny. So if I plug funny into witty instead of witty, so this is what Dad considered a very funny remark. That still makes sense. And if I can plug the word in there and it makes sense, or another word for it, a synonym, and it still makes sense, then that's probably the correct word. That's probably the meaning of the word. So today, when you're working, be thinking about that. Be thinking about plugging words in that you're unsure of to help you better understand the passage and help you to better understand and answer some of those questions. All right, guys, good luck today. Do your best work. You know how to get to the Gauge quiz. It's down here in Gauge, and it should say Unit 2. Okay, if that does not work, don't panic. I have an alternative assignment for you. So just stick with it and make sure you raise your hand instead of everybody yelling out all at once that it's not working. All right, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And remember, don't rush. You'll have tomorrow to work on it a little bit too. And I'll see you guys then. I hope to hear positive things.